account here on TikTok, and I got like 19,000 views, but I kind of paused on content because censorship it was going nuts. But I do coding. So I work with coding. I built gaming servers. So I'm working on a couple projects right now. So we'll see how that works.
By the way, so I just went live on my YouTube. If you guys don't mind, check out my YouTube channel. You can just like it and then come back. It's Sina Dean on YouTube. You just search it. But I wish, like I said, unfortunately, I'm not going to have the full live stream on this one, but I'll save it and repost it on TikTok. But yeah, okay, I got one person in my chat. So we got some people coming in from TikTok on my YouTube live. So can you tell me more about how you got banned though? I do want to.
So, I mean, pretty much what I was doing is I was going to like Gateway Pundit, which is more right-wing media, and I was reading some of these articles and stories about what was going on. I didn't post any of like this QAnon movement, any conspiracies. I stayed away from it. And I would tell people openly to not post a lot about it because censorship is a real thing and they're going to hit it hard. So when Trump got banned off of everything, and then I forgot what was that app that got pulled off the Amazon servers? Remember, it's a huge story. It wasn't Rumble, it was something else.
Hey, can I ask you a question? Because I don't know this question. I wanted to ask you this. Did you see the interview with the Paul?
No.
Okay, I haven't seen it either, so I can't comment on that. But go ahead. And then someone else says they can't see my live on YouTube. You got to find my channel, and it should come up. Parler. Are you talking about Parler?
Parler, yeah. So when Parler got pulled off the servers, that was kind of interesting. It had to do with that whole January 6th thing, or January 5th, whatever it was. The whole Capitol, like everyone's ran into the Capitol. So after that happened, Google, because when you create an app, you're going to be in the Google Store and the Apple Store, and you got to kind of go with their terms. Also, they'll just pull you out of the store. So when that whole January 6th thing happened, and they took off Parler, they contacted Clapper. Clapper was the app that broadcasted freedom of speech. Really, like, low censorship wasn't a big thing. So I was on there for about a month. I posted a lot of videos. I did a lot of political stuff. I'm big into documentaries about like the banking system, the central banking system, and even some of the works of China. And Google contacted Clapper and said, hey, you need to start censoring some of your content creators. And here's what we want you to censor on. No one can question the vaccine. Honestly.
By the way, I do want to say that I obviously got vaccinated, and then my dad and my sister are doctors, so they got also vaccinated. And I can understand having the freedom not to be vaccinated. I'm totally for it. And actually, there's one good thing about not getting the vaccine. So we have a bunch of other countries that need to get vaccinated. And if we don't get them vaccinated, they're going to have more strains of coronavirus. So there is a reason, especially once we hit, like, I think we already hit over 50% where you don't need to get the vaccine. But the thing that's bothering me is they're not giving it to the other countries because Bill Gates wants to make money. And so we could get another really bad variant because Bill Gates is just trying to make more money on the vaccine.
Biden just bought like 90 million vaccines and he sent it to other countries. But he's like, remember, these aren't FDA approved, so we're sending these other countries. And once we see what happens over there, then we'll bring it back to America's market. I was in the medical marijuana sector for about 7 years. I ran 3 companies. I'm in the hemp industry now.
I love it.
Right?
Can I invest in your company? If you do a startup in hemp, because I want to get rid of plastic products, if you do anything in startup, count me in. I would love to invest with you. And then, by the way, I only got 3 people in my YouTube channel, so hopefully more people can come check out the YouTube. Give me a thumbs up. I got 1 like. I got 40 people in my TikTok live stream, so my goal is maybe I can get 20 likes on my YouTube. But definitely, because I am worried about censorship and I have gotten banned, I do want to be able to post content on YouTube, and I don't think it'll get banned on YouTube. And if it does get banned, I mean, they have to go to multiple places. Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, well, when I was on that Clapper app, I did pretty well. I didn't post a lot of stuff. So when they did Google contacted them and said, hey, you guys need to censor. People were questioning anti-vaxxers. It was weird, the stuff they'd say. People who still say Trump is their president. I was like, why would you even censor that? Like, that's just dumb, you know? You couldn't make a lot of comments on Anthony Fauci, right? Dr. Fauci.
Hold on, I gotta say this. Okay, so someone came to my YouTube channel. You get a shout out. They're like, "Please block Stock Market Daddy." Why does everyone hate on Stock Market Daddy? I actually don't mind his content, but everyone who comes on my YouTube is always they're making fun of Stock Market Daddy. And by the way, I'm glad you came in too, because like I said, I hate having the same talks over and over again. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. Just with the whole Clapper thing, they targeted saying you can't talk about these things. Clapper did a live. One of the girls is like the spokesman. She said, "Hey, you guys have a couple days. We need you to clear out some of your content that goes against these specific guidelines. And if you miss any videos after those 2 days, we'll delete them ourselves. Nobody's going to get banned." I went live that night. I had like almost 200 people in my live. And people were coming into my chat and being like, "Yo, I tried to go to your account and it won't let me in your account. It says there's no page, there's no profile." And so they ended up banning me. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever. So, which was interesting because there were people on there that like 100K was like big there, you know. It was kind of a new app. I mean, it's an older app, but it wasn't as big. A lot of people were going over to Clapper because TikTok was censoring, like, when you talk about 3 or 4 months ago, they were censoring all kinds of people. You know, there's a lot of people like, I didn't even do anything. Like, what are the community guidelines? Like, I didn't do anything bad. Like, there's nothing that goes against it, but I just get banned, you know. But there was a lot of moves where people were doing this mass reporting, trying to get people banned. If they didn't like you and the content you're putting, they'd have their own community. I could go in Discord and I could get easily 400 or 500 people to go in and just mass flag your page, and you most likely get instantly banned because there's so many flags. They think there's something horrible happening, you know. So that happened with Clapper, but
well, I got 4 people on this YouTube live stream, but I need more likes, guys. So if you guys don't mind, come in here. I got 4 likes on my YouTube. My goal right now is to get to 20, and then that way. Okay, I know I'm not gonna block party, dude. They want me to block Stock Market Daddy. I got it. Go ahead.
So I mentioned China. You know, China. I mean, how much money do you owe to China in debt?
I got $1 million. I got $1 million loan, so I owe a Chinese bank $1 million, but we're paying it off. I'm making my monthly payments, and then I did invest in some Chinese stocks, huh?
I mean, America.
So my YouTube channel, sorry, people are still having trouble finding it. You got to just basically go on YouTube and just do Sina Dean. If I don't come up, do Sina Dean Bitcoin. I for sure will come up. And then just come in my live video stream. Give me a thumbs up. I need those thumbs up. And then you can come back on TikTok. But some people, they like YouTube more. So that's another reason too. Just check out YouTube because you can like play it while the screen is closed. And so that way there's like another way for you to enjoy my content. And then if you want to watch this again, because I feel like this is one of my better live streams, I'm going to have the entire live stream on YouTube, so you can just go on it whenever you want. Go ahead.
I'll give you a little prediction of what I think of the crypto market's going to be, especially with Bitcoin. I think people are, it's going to come out, and you know the GPUs that, for all these miners, right? They use a GPU for gaming. Like I'm in the gaming realm, so GPUs are like the main component of your graphic. It's your graphics card, right? Who produces those graphics cards? It's China, right? So reports, when Bitcoin even first started, China was out mining. It's all funded by the CCP, their state, their government, right? So they're creating the miners ultimately for pennies on the dollar. It can be funded by their government, and they have warehouses full of miners, okay? The purpose that people really don't like about our currency is manipulated, okay? The dollar is manipulated, either by the Federal Reserve. China also has a big factor in that as well, because they dictate a lot of what's going on in the market.
Hey, by the way, most of the GPUs are actually made in Taiwan. A lot of the stuff is made by Taiwan Semiconductor, and they're actually building a plant in Arizona. So what's even better is even if the Chinese invade Taiwan, we got a plant in Arizona, baby. Go ahead.
So another issue is how not a lot of people really understand how Bitcoin was created. I'm not saying I even know. There's a lot of theories out there, right? There's this kind of blank, mysterious character that no one really knows the story of. But they also tie it into our intelligence agency being involved in this for smuggling money, because our government, our intelligence agencies have moved money. You were talking about the military industrial complex, right? So talk about the Pentagon the day before 9/11 happened. the Pentagon came out and said, we lost $2.3 trillion. We don't know where it went. Then all of a sudden 9/11 happens the next day, and the Pentagon, the billing department, gets blown up. So it's super suspicious. I'm not saying it's what I'm not.
I think 9/11 was an inside job, man. And I don't understand why we still do business with Saudi Arabia. All the people that did 9/11 are Saudis, yet we're buddies with the Saudi government. And both, it doesn't matter if it's Trump, Obama, Biden, they all kiss Saudi butt. They all kiss Saudi butt. And they're the real dictatorship, by the way. They're a much worse dictatorship than the other dictators that we invade. So there's so much hypocrisy in our foreign policy. And by the way, I got 5 likes on my YouTube. So if you can come on my YouTube live stream, give me a like. I'm trying to get to 10. Let's get to 10, and then I'll stop bothering you guys. Yeah, oil money, basically. Someone made the comment, oil money. Go ahead.
Oil money, but I mean, the worst dictatorship I've ever seen is in my opinion, would be a lot of Chinese dictatorship. Because
what about the Saudis though? They cut your head off. They remember Khashoggi? It was like a James Bond villain, and it was under Trump's watch. And he's like, Trump's not gonna do shit. He's like, I'm gonna kill people like a James Bond villain, and you guys ain't gonna do shit because I'm rich.
You say that, so like Saudi Arabia, you can't have Trump kill all connections because they have corruption in their country. And if that was the case, we probably wouldn't do business with the majority of the countries. That just cut people's heads off. China has family policies. They're almost like North Korea. It's almost like North Korea learned from China. So whatever you think is going on in North Korea, multiply by 100 that's going on in China. People disappear in China. That Hong Kong protest, you gotta understand, the Hong Kong protest is going crazy. LeBron James even said, I support these protesters.
John Cena.
You know what China contacted the NBA. China contacted the NBA and said, hey, LeBron James needs to retract and apologize. China contacted the NBA, said LeBron James needs to apologize and pull back his comments on the protesters, his support, or else we will pull your NBA games off the Asian market. The same thing with the movie industry. He talked about Taiwan. Top Gun, go watch Top Gun 1, okay? All these nerds pointed out, in Top Gun 1, there was a Taiwan flag on one of the bomber jackets, right?
I didn't know that.
In Top Gun 2, it's missing. So all the nerds are like, oh, there's a patch missing. It was the Taiwan flag. And rumors are China was pressuring them to pull it out because they don't recognize them as a country. So if they don't do those things, Asia has to threaten, because Asia's market is huge. They actually have a huge market, a lot of people, right? So a lot of movie industry, a lot of sports, they want to be in the Asian market. Now, if you don't obey their stipulations, they'll pull you out of the market. That's a big threat. Now in Hong Kong, this is what's weird. Hong Kong had all this protests, and then the virus came out, right? Lockdown. There's something like 20 million people who are on the main phone plan that were just wiped out. They don't know where people were disappearing. Doctors were disappearing that were speaking out on the virus, right? So there's a lot of stuff that was coming out. And the way China works, so I even have a theory with Bitcoin. So mark this on your live here. I think it's going to come out that China owns a majority of Bitcoin, or a huge portion. I shouldn't say a majority, right? A huge portion. And I also believe our intelligence agency owns a huge portion from black market deals and also confiscations from people who are doing illegal works, right? So your manipulation that you're trying to get away from with the US dollar is literally under the same control that the US dollar is in. The government manipulating it, and then also the Asian market or the Asian government manipulating it as well. So in Bitcoin, to be honest, if you look at any technology, Bitcoin was one of the first ones. Awesome, you brought us a new technology, great. So did Napster, but we don't use Napster anymore. We have Pandora and Spotify. So who's the Pandora and Spotify? That's what I look at. I look at ones that are now having somewhat backing, and I believe Bitcoin's going to get exposed a little bit. I think once things like XRP, if that settlement pulls, you know how many people are going to pull their money out of Bitcoin, start switching into these? They're already doing it. They're already putting it into actual cryptos that have something behind it, that have quality behind it. Yeah. That's a little bit my prediction. I don't think Bitcoin only has.
I do want people to check this out because he did make a comment. I don't know if this is true, but he's saying you can go to gate.io to buy SafeMoon. But here's the deal. If you turn the US dollar token into cash on Coinbase, there's another fee. So if you guys want to legitimately prove me wrong, actually do what he's saying. But I still think you're going to pay a lot more in fees than what this guy is commenting on. But I'm glad that he made this comment because he could be right. You guys can check it out, but I'm not going to do anything like that. And by the way, I only got 9 likes on my YouTube. We're 1 like away from 10. So if you can jump on this YouTube live stream, let me know. So my main thing is the hedge fund guys. Have you seen the big hedge fund dudes? They like Bitcoin. So I don't see any hedge fund guys yet backing, or any major institutions backing XRP or maybe another technology. So if I see them on Bloomberg, go ahead.
You gotta understand, Bitcoin dictates the market. If Bitcoin tanks, they all tank.
No, but you just need a hedge fund guy. I just need to open up my YouTube. Once again, go on YouTube. There's like Bloomberg. You can follow Bloomberg. You can follow CNBC. I just need one of these hedge fund guys to go in there and say, hey, I'm not buying Bitcoin. I'm going to buy XRP instead. Because the problem right now is all the institutional money, they don't even talk about Ethereum, which I think Ethereum is a great investment, but most institutional monies, and oh, by the way, if you want to get a crypto loan, most institutions will just do lending on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now that could change. And if it changes, then that's a great sign for altcoins. But I don't know when it's going to happen. It could happen in the next year. It could happen in 5 years. It could never happen. And for whatever reason, people stick to Bitcoin because, like, the richest people, like the Winklevoxes and stuff, they want, you know what I mean? We don't have control. We just can own small shares and speculate.
Why would they use Bitcoin? What's so special about Bitcoin? Because it's a hype coin in a sense. It technically is a hype coin.
So it has.
It's not really.
It has the network effect, though. It does have the network effect that, like, right now, if you're a bank, right? Most banks have ways to do business. And once again, this could all change. You're actually right. It could all change. And I don't know when. The main thing I'm saying is look for that interview, right? There's going to be an interview on CNBC when some hedge fund guy comes in with all his money and he's going to be like, you know what? Bitcoin sucks. I'm buying XRP. If that happens soon, you're going to be printing tendies. But if it doesn't happen, you might just be holding XRP waiting. And we both don't know, right?
I'm going long term, so I'm not even, to be honest. So a lot of people, you hear some of these people talk about XRP and be like, well, XRP, the banks will never use it as currency.
Are you going to go, by the way, you got to go on you're going to follow, what's his name? Robert Oliver. Please check out his TikTok. You got to stitch his content. You have to, please, just because I'm sure I'll probably, yeah, write that down. By the way, I got to 10 likes on YouTube. Thank you, YouTube world. Thank you.
I observe a lot. I have 2 kids. I have a 3-year-old and I have a 1-year-old boy. And with the political realm, the social realms, all these social arguments of what we're trying to say, what's morally correct. You got the finance. This is one of the best times to live. You're going to see the biggest transfer of our system than you've ever seen before. And it's happening more rapidly than ever before, right? Everything's going faster and faster. So what I do is I bought like a 10 terabyte hard drive. So I save a lot of videos. I have a lot of documentaries. I save really interesting TikToks. And I store that because when I get to a certain age, I want to bring more. My kids get to a certain age, I want them to see what we embrace on a big change. You have your financial system, the military, the political stuff that's going on right now is going to be mind-blowing. It already is mind-blowing, right? Sitting back and realizing what's actually taking place in front of us. There's going to be a lot of changes. So in that realm, how I see XRP, like I see the haters and whatever. I don't really give a shit about people's feelings. That's not my point.
But you're open to criticism, right? If someone's going to criticize XRP, you're still going to listen to them. You're not going to freak out, right? It's not like a religion, right? If someone says, wait a minute, why doesn't God send me an email or text? You're not going to get offended. You said God can use text or email? Now I'm offended. It's like, no, man. Just hear out their argument. It could be good. It could be bad. But there's nothing wrong with listening to an argument. And if it's a crap argument, just get out of it. After a minute or two, just be like, all right, this guy's full of shit. Just be like, okay, I understand your argument and move on. Just do not be married to your investments. Okay. If for whatever reason, go ahead.
it's facts over feelings anyway. Because some people are like, "Oh, it's a scam coin, it's a shit coin," and I'm like, "Well,"
and it's not, because it's been around. It was the third largest crypto for the longest time, and they have a lot of money. That I've seen the CEO, what's his name, Brad Garlinger or whatever. Like, he's still around. He's still making moves. So yeah, I mean, just don't be married.
I go, who's partnering with them? Who's going to partner with a scam coin? Why is Bank of America working with them? Why did they just buy 40% stock in a company that has 1,000 contracts with over 1,000 banks in 100 countries? Their goal is to do worldwide transfers. So I've even seen people that are like, banks would never use XRP as their currency. I go, they would if they have to transfer your money into a digital currency to transfer it over a network and then switch back into a different currency. It's a transferring currency. I don't think you understand. So how many ever dollars, yens, euros, whatever it is, through a wire transfer, it might have to transfer into XRP to transfer through the network. And then once it gets to where its destination is, then it's migrated into yen or whatever you're switching it into for international transfers. It doesn't have to replace currency. It could actually work side by side with currency. So that's an option, right? So I hear people that say things that just, I think they look at something with such a narrow window. They don't really understand the perspective and the complexity of our system and how things can change. By looking at Bitcoin, I don't see a lot of partners. I see a lot of uncertainty. I mean, a lot of people don't like Elon Musk, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. From his comments and whatever and his manipulation. But I honestly believe that he's trying to expose a little bit about what's going on behind the system. Me personally, you can make money off of Bitcoin. I don't personally like Bitcoin. It's just mainly a hype. In my eyes, it's a hype coin. It's only worth so much because there's so little of it, and so many people have bousted it. Right? It's a description of a hype coin in my eyes. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you can't make money on it. I just don't personally believe it's really going to go anywhere. I think there's more behind the back end of it that people aren't seeing, and once that more and more of that comes out, a lot of investors in Bitcoin are going to pull out. And they're going to realize, wait, why are we even in Bitcoin? Just because it's worth a lot of money? Well, what are these other systems that are actually pairing up with banking systems in other countries? So, and back before even the lawsuit, this is interesting. I don't know if you ever seen that video of Ashton Kutcher. He was working with Ripple and went on Ellen DeGeneres' show, right? He said, hey, Ellen, I know you have a fundraiser for like protecting gorillas in another country, right? He goes, Ripple wants to donate you money.
You cut out? And so Ripple wants to donate you money?
Yep. Yeah, sorry, I had a phone call. I just ignored it. So Ashton Kutcher is telling Ellen DeGeneres, hey, we want to donate you some money. Ripple and I are gonna put money together. Usually you come out with a big check. You can look this up on YouTube. Just look up Ashton Kutcher Ripple, Ellen DeGeneres. It's a really cool video. And he's like, usually you come out with a big check. We sign a check to your foundation. He goes, here's my phone. We're going to donate $4 million to you through XRP. We're going to transfer it through this push of a button instantly into your account in some other country, wherever their foundation was. And he goes, would you like to push the button? Transferred $4 million within seconds. It's in the account. Right? Then you have Madonna. She even did a commercial for Ripple. Her movement or her push was to help third world countries in transferring money cheaply and easily and efficiently, right? So you have all this hype behind a currency or a crypto that is actually benefiting. It's benefiting in their system, but it's also being partnered with huge influencers. And it's not just political, social media influencers. You had that Rosie that came from the Treasury. You saw that she got on the board.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. But by the way, you got my live stream up to 50 people. So what you're talking about is people are interested. My only request is check out my YouTube live. Come on my YouTube live because I do want people on my cross-platform. And by the way, if you missed this entire interview, I'm going to have the full interview on my YouTube channel. So if you want to go...
I see you.
Because we go down the history rabbit hole. Before we got to Ripple, we went down the history rabbit hole. So please check out my YouTube. Just hit Sina Dean on YouTube and I should show up. And then give me a thumbs up if you come on my live stream. And if you leave a comment here, I'll give you a shout out. I heard she truly didn't join. Wait, they're saying I heard she didn't truly join the board. What
She's on the board. She's on the board. She even speaks on Ripple's behalf at times. So
she just became an advisor for the situation. I don't know.
She resigned from the. Even then, she resigned from the Treasury, and even if she just became an advisor, why would you resign from the Treasury and go and be an advisor? Maybe the case too is, well, let's think of this. What banks out there are talking about working with a crypto? And I don't mean banks being like, hey, everyone's pulling their money out of our banks. We can't loan out money because we don't have all this money. We need people to put their money in our bank so we can hold it and gamble with it. Can we start accepting Bitcoin or something? I don't talk about that. I'm talking about ones that are looking to partner with companies. Okay, that's what you should be looking for. There's a lot of predictions that Ethereum and Bitcoin are going to flip flop. Bitcoin's going to tank, right? And I think what you should have realized, if you guys ever watch Pablo, right? You watch Pablo.
People think he's Satoshi Nakamoto. It's such a joke, dude. That guy is just like an investment banker.
No, he is really smart. He puts a lot of information together. That's what a lot of people have a poor ability of taking a lot of information and kind of putting it together with the right puzzle pieces. Right? A lot of people only take a little bit of information. They'll look at.
By the way, I did do a double live with him for like 3 seconds, and then he's like, "Oh, sorry," because I sent him a request, and then I guess he was trying to do it. So I was on a live stream with him for 3 seconds, and then he like dumped me. What's your YouTube channel? I don't want to click out of this interview. You can just Google me on YouTube. Just do Sina Dean, and I'll come up. But yeah, if you want to stay on this interview, that's fine. I'll just have the recording of this entire interview. And by the way, thank you for the roses. I'm getting some roses from Cowie Bog Official, so thank you. But go ahead, continue with Pablo.
The whole thing when they had this theory of some guy that holds Bitcoin sleeping with another investor's wife or something, and they were trying to get him out. Like, that's just stupid. It doesn't make sense. If they're going to cause a sell-off, then he's just going to buy more at the dip. So I thought that was just funny. But that just shows you the manipulation, right? A lot of people are like, oh, Elon. It's like, guys, you can not like him. That's fine. I really don't care. But what you're doing is you're putting blame on someone when there's people that are doing much bigger work to manipulate the market on the back end. The funny thing is you just don't know who it is. When Elon Musk went on Saturday Night Live, right? And 5 minutes before he even got on the show even started, a mass sell-off, right? So people are manipulating the market. And I think people just don't like Elon because they don't know who's manipulating. But Elon's face is exposed and they know who he is. So they can yell and point all they want. But who just sold all that Bitcoin? These billionaires in China, that's what Pablo claims, right? And then when that happens, you got to understand, you can go right now, go and look up Bitcoin's charts and then go evaluate the charts with all the other cryptos. Majority of them are going to look the exact same, right? So in my eyes, Bitcoin is heavily manipulated. It's been here the longest. It's the easiest one for people to manipulate, I think. Right.
Wait, but when it's the biggest market cap, it's the hardest. Usually when you have a small market cap, it's very easy to manipulate. Like if your coin is under $1 billion, it's very easy to manipulate. When your coin is worth more than 10 billion, it becomes a lot harder to manipulate because you're going to need a lot more money to manipulate it.
Look at the last month. Money's not an issue to some of these people. Money's not an issue. How much money do you need to make? I'm not going to get into this socialist realm where you should only make 100,000, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. But there's people that are so wealthy that money is this fucking nuts. It's this dirt.
The Walmart kids.
They have so much.
The Walmart kids.
Huh?
The Walmart kids. They didn't even work for their billions. With Bezos and Musk, they deserve to be billionaires. But what exactly did the Walmart kids do other than win the lottery of life?
Well, are you going to have the same idea if Bezos dies or hands off his fortune to his kids?
I think that the wealth tax is reasonable, right? Your first 20 million should be tax free. I would be even okay with making it 40 million, but after a certain amount, dude, yeah, you shouldn't get infinite money, huh?
Here's the thing: it's funny that you say that, right? You're okay with the wealth tax, which is, I'm pretty sure.
No, but there's a limit, right? Your first, like, I do believe your first 20 to 30 to 40 million. Go ahead.
Hold on. So you want the government to take more money from the wealthy to what? Pump into.
So did the wealthy use the roads though? Hold on. Well, that's true. No. That's actually a good argument that the government takes the money. Yeah. No. That's a great argument. But here's the issue that I have is that if you leave it with the billionaires, right? If you leave it with the billionaires, they use that money to control our government. So it's like a kind of a catch-22. You leave it with the billionaires, they buy the politicians, they control the puppets. If you give it to your government, you're right. They could do corrupt things. You're right. So we want to balance. But you want to balance, right? You want to balance. So maybe you make it 100 million, but like you can't have complete free market, right? If it's complete, go ahead.
Taxing them is not the solution. It's not.
What's the solution?
Right?
Completely free market? Just let the free market run, baby. Even though we don't do anything free market, that's just the illusion.
Well, taxing billionaires, right, to give to politicians or the government who dictates where that money goes, which normally they just give tax breaks to these billionaires anyway, so they've created a monopoly, right? The issue is if you really want a solution to a lot of this shit, take away the power from the government, okay? This isn't capitalism. All these people.
How about you take away power from the federal government? Because I do believe the federal government has too much power. Give more power to the states, and then let a lot of these issues be a state right. Because everyone can move. So if you don't like this issue, move.
That's the battle right now.
Yeah, I believe state rights. Like let every state. Because like here's the deal: the numbers don't lie. Like I like the fact that like you had states like Florida and Texas that were like, okay, coronavirus doesn't exist. And then you had hardcore states like California and New York. We need that. Like we need to have different types of government work. Go ahead.
It's all an experiment. Every state's going to run it. You need to give every state that freedom because we all got to try new things. And if we can learn from another state, then we can make it better in another state. And then, we can help fix each other. But when you have a federal government who this is what I see. A lot of people are like,
and that's why I don't pay my federal taxes. I like paying my real estate tax because I know it goes to my, my local government. But yeah, you're right. I hate paying federal tax. It's kind of a scam. Go for it.
All these billionaires put their money in assets anyway. So even if you want to raise their taxes, it's mainly going to affect the smaller people. Like it's ultimately going to do that.
Well, but hold on. When they do a billionaire tax, how does it affect the small people? Like if they want to tax billionaires 1%, like even if you have $100 million, it's not going to touch you.
If you look at any of these tax hikes, it's never like, oh, we're just going to raise the taxes on the rich.
By the way, I love this comment. Can someone remind us when the last U.S. war we won? Yeah, that was like the last just war was World War II. After that, every war has been a war crime, in my opinion.
They're not made to. The wars are not made to win. They're made to maintain. Vietnam was the same thing. A lot of our.
But the Viet Cong took over anyways. We could have just let the Viet Cong take over and saved a ton of money. And guess what we could have done with that money? We could have built like a high speed. China has high speed trains. Europe has high speed trains. We don't. Like we could have what is it called? Drinking water without lead. We have lead pipes, and we have Americans that have to get lead in their system because we need to go bomb random people halfway across the planet. So Raytheon and Dick Cheney can get rich.
I always told people if the Federal Reserve never came in.
But do you see how we agree? Because you're basically a conservative and I'm somewhat more liberal, but like in reality, they're blinding us, dude. We actually agree on a lot of things. Most conservatives and most liberals agree on most things because there's somewhere in the middle that there's a happy medium. In order for the government to control us and to divide us, they show the crazy liberals and they show the crazy conservatives, and that's not the real conservatives and liberals, right? And the main problem is we need 4 parties or 3 parties. This 2-party system is what creates the monopolies, and that's why Trump couldn't do anything. If there was like 4 or 5 parties, I feel like you wouldn't have all this establishment controlling everything. We need more parties. We need more parties, and you guys got to wake up, man. Like most Americans are good people. Most Americans just want to make America great. And some Americans are a little crazy and they say crazy things, but you should never censor them. if they want to be idiots and say things that you don't agree with, just tolerate it and say, look, I don't agree with this, but let's talk about the things we agree on. Go ahead.
You need those bad theories and those bad ideas to be out there so people can counteract it.
Yeah. If it's really a bad idea, why are you trying to censor it? If it's really stupid, why are you trying to censor it? Just let people laugh at it and be like, like I never got offended with whatever Trump did. It was funny. It was entertainment. And like, yeah, he said some stupid stuff. Yeah, he made us look bad. But like, guess what? There's a lot of good things that people don't realize. Like I necessarily didn't, I'm not 100% on the Trump train. I'm more on the liberal side, but there's a lot of good things he did. Obama got us into more wars. No one brings this up. Obama got us into more wars.
Sorry. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You just cut out. And I keep thinking you're going to cut out. This is why you guys need to come on my YouTube. Come on my YouTube live stream. Give me a thumbs up on the YouTube. If we get censored, we got YouTube, baby.
I'm getting blown up.
I got 11 likes.
So
I got 11 likes on my YouTube.
Account.
Oh, yours is? Okay.
Yeah, this is my shadow banned account, but I have a lot of connections on here. My algorithm's really good because I followed the pages and like the videos I like, so I have a really good algorithm on here. My other one was just like, I don't really like stuff. I just post stuff and just try to accumulate, but keep within the guidelines. I basically learn what people get banned for, and I try not to touch those topics, So, anyway, I want to jump around too. I mentioned like QE4, right? All China has to do, if they really want to crumble our economy, which who knows if they want to do that or not. Who knows if this virus was actually built in a lab, was souped up on purpose, was released on purpose. At the same time, Hong Kong protesters are going crazy. It's a good time to shut everything down and kidnap these people and put them in jail. China just arrested a ton of Islam people and put them in
Uyghurs.
Internment camps, right? And they've been covering this up. They've been harvesting organs out of prisoners, right? People disappear. They get black bagged. If you ever seen V for Vendetta, you see the black bag they get over and the people disappear. That shit happens in China all the time. You'll see government vans that pull up and just kidnap people, dip out, right? You want to talk about how we're going to war with these other countries. Someone cuts off a head in Saudi Arabia, but you have China going on, and we're openly doing business with them.
Yeah. Well, I want to bring this up.
Buying all their property.
So people are talking about margin calls. Are you familiar with margin calls? Or no?
Yeah, but I'm not.
Yeah, you don't mess around with it. But so what people have to realize, in order to get a margin call, especially if you're not buying a crappy stock, if you buy AMC, you might get a margin call. But if you buy, for example, like a Facebook, Google, or Amazon, you have to have a 75% loss of whatever you bought the stock at. 75%. In the history of the stock market, the worst correction we ever had was like the Black Monday in 87. It was like 30%. So this idea, and then I just want to bring this up to everyone again because it really bothers me. But Apple went down during the coronavirus crash 20%. Amazon went down 15%. So when people say, don't do margin, like this is bad. It's like, first off, have you ever bought Apple or Amazon? Like, do you really think you're going to be in a situation where Amazon goes down 75%? They control the government. Bezos bought at Washington Post. Like, there's no way Amazon will ever go down below 75%. There's no way. And then
he's also invested in fusion technology too.
And then think about it. If you do this, you can get a loan, because the most people don't realize this, but you can now borrow. If you use Interactive Brokers and you're on their main platform, you can borrow at 1.5%. This is why rich people and corporations are so rich, because most people, they go into credit card debt or they go into like car debt, and obviously the car devalues. But if you can buy assets under 1.5% and you're buying an Amazon, a Facebook, a Google, you're going to become wealthy. But most people are afraid because they think, margin call. And of course you're going to get a margin call if you buy like a crap stock. But if you're buying high quality assets, it's the easiest way to get rich, and you don't have to take a lot of risk. When you invest in Ripple, for example, there's a lot of upside, but there are some risk, right? It's not like investing in Amazon, Facebook, or Google, right? And you can't borrow on your Ripple. If you have $10,000 of Ripple, no one's going to give you $5,000 at 1% interest, right? Right? So
yeah, Ripple's not much of a.
So most of your wealth.
Weird case.
But most of your wealth, if you try this strategy, and maybe I can convince you, because I don't know, I don't think you've ever done margin. You've never borrowed on your stocks, correct?
Nope.
So, and most people don't.
I've stayed away. I've stayed away from the stock market. I've really just invested in businesses. I've invested in multiple businesses in the medical.
That's actually the fastest way to get rich, to be honest. That's the best way. You should make more TikToks on that, man. Because people do need to learn on how to start. And that's how we actually make America better, is making jobs. And that's why I don't want to mind. Yeah. Go ahead.
It's just, TikTok's just not a really good app for that, because they claim it as an illegal activity. You know, when I got shadow banned on this account, I just posted guns sitting in cases, right, with a song. And it got flagged. And that's when I got shadow banned afterwards. Like, I'm pretty sure I posted a video last month that still has 0 views. That's like not even possible, right? So the other account, that one,
Anyways, another reason you should come on my YouTube channel, because people keep asking about how to do this. Me and Party Finance, I know that Party Finance is in my live stream. We're gonna actually post YouTube videos on this content. So once again, I know you guys get annoyed. I do have 11 likes. Maybe I can get to 20 likes on my YouTube. But if you really want these questions, because I'm obviously interviewing him on other stuff, come on to my YouTube, subscribe. We will post that video, and you will basically get to see a video walkthrough of how you can borrow under 1.5%. And maybe if you ever get interested, I can also show you how to do it. But the other thing that I've been doing is, so I have a $200,000 stock portfolio, so I can literally borrow $66,000 on my stocks, right? And I put $5,000 in the US dollar coin that pays 9% on Voyager, and it covers my margin interest, because my margin interest is like $36,000 or $36. So by me putting $5,000 in a stable coin, that means I'm borrowing $60,000 for free. That's why a lot of people come into my live stream and ask this question. And it's like, I really can't explain it, but if you give me some time, me and Party Finance, another guy that I do collabs with, we're going to create a video that will show you how to do all of this. Now, you obviously don't need 200 grand in stocks. You can literally do this with 2,000. Like, in order to do this experiment, you just need $2,000 of stocks. You pull out $1,000 loan, right? And you can also get like 9% on your $1,000 and do the arbitrage. But if people have these questions on my, if you have these questions, I can't answer it on this live stream. We're talking about other things, but just check out my YouTube, subscribe. We will post a video that will hopefully walk you through most of the stuff. And the dictator's at work. Someone's asking me where my girlfriend is. The dictator's at work. Go ahead.
I saw you speaking about recession, right? And that was one of the questions I brought up was, what are the benefits of recession, or a collapse, right? So one thing these elites have made a lot of money. A lot of them are just well set, right? And there is an issue with dollars losing its value. And there's also an issue with people who are very wealthy, who are moving their wealth out of the US dollar and investing in other aspects, right? Other assets.
Yep.
So what do you think the Great Reset is? What do you think that is?
I think
we talked about it at the G7.
I think we're going to become more dystopian. So until there's an actual French Revolution where people wake up and realize that you guys are getting scammed, I think that you're just going to have more and more.
What if people are already waking up and they're realizing that they need to make a move?
Well, hopefully they do it soon.
Maybe Trump getting in delayed them 4 years. That's why they've been so fast with everything. All these executive orders.
But hold on, the problem with Trump is he did promise a lot of things, but he became pretty cozy with Wall Street and the establishment. Like Steve Mnuchin is like a corporate sellout, right? And so
who are you talking?
Trump. My issue with Trump is he did a lot of good things, but he did bend the knee to the big pharma. Remember, he called out big pharma and big pharma stocks went down, but then he never passed anything to actually do something about big pharma. And the problem with Trump is I think he realized that hey, I need these corporate sellouts in the beginning, right? In the beginning of his term, he's like, fine, come into my cabinet. And then at the end, when he finally tried to pull the military out of Iraq and try to actually start making moves, they stopped him. They took away his power. So I feel like the mistake Trump made is in the beginning, he's like, okay, let me let the Goldman Sachs people come in. Let me let the Wall Street bankers. And then what's his name? Like Jared Kushner and I bet, you know what I mean? Like he allowed these people in the beginning. And then at the end of his term, when he could start making like real moves of like, hey, pharmaceutical companies are stealing from us, I'm going to actually do something. Remember he said he was going to do an executive order on like making pharmaceutical companies not like steal from us? You remember that, right?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of executive orders, and
but none of them.
The only one I mainly remember when it pertained to pharmaceuticals is when they were overprescribing. So his DOJ prosecuted like thousands of doctors for overprescribing pharmaceuticals because of the epidoid.
But he also he wanted to make an executive order that basically they had to charge us what other countries pay. Because remember how like you can go to Mexico. Like I live in California. I literally drive right across the border. It takes me an hour, and I can buy like I take hair loss medication. What is it? Propecia. And so in America, Propecia is $25. I can buy the same Propecia in Mexico for $1. And the only reason is because the American Propecia, they buy our politicians and they allow like this basically monopoly thing, right? And Trump and Biden, the funny thing is both Trump and Biden were like, we're going to do something about this. And guess what happened? They sold out. So I love Trump, but once again, he made these cool executive orders. But when push came to shove, the establishment was able, they were too powerful.
Depends, yeah. Well, that's a definite case. I mean, shit, if you really wanted to make change in our government, they assassinate people like it's nothing.
I'm surprised they didn't kill Trump. I'm surprised they didn't kill him.
Yeah. How did they KFA this dude already? Like, that blows my mind.
CNN was making too much money on him. Did you see that? CNN loves Trump. They made so much money when he was in office. As soon as Trump left left office, CNN doesn't make money. Like, all these news politicians can't make money.
There's that funny meme where there's, like, nothing to report on, right? Biden's just being a fucking zombie standing there. And then you'll see CNN.
Have you seen the interviews, too?
I wonder what Trump's doing.
The interviews are a joke. The interviews are a joke. At least occasionally Trump will get like interviewed by what's his name? The guy at Fox News did a good job. Chris Wallace. He would actually like ask some like hard questions. With Biden, it's a joke. It's like, how you doing, Grandpa? Like, how's your vacation, Grandpa? Like, and mad props to Chris Wallace because people don't like him. But dude, I have a lot of respect when people actually ask hard questions, man. And Trump didn't run away. Yeah. Trump didn't run away. And so it's like all of our politicians should like ask questions like that. Like, what's the point?
Well, it's crazy. Trump was a liberal. He used to give money to the Clintons.
He even said it. He even said he liked buying them out.
In politics, I've seen people who talk about like lower government, right? State governments when they get into office, and some of these newer guys like, yeah, I'm gonna go in and make a change, and they go, you know what? I was totally
AOC.
When I got in,
AOC completely sold out. Go ahead.
Who?
AOC. It's so funny because like all her early interviews are like, oh, like I'm here to change the Democratic Party. I'm here to make the Democrats like more progressive. Dude, she did nothing. She took all of your money. I feel bad for all these Bernie and AOC supporters. By the way, I gave money to Bernie. They took your money. They promised like. I was a Bernie supporter. Me too. So it's funny. And then remember when they were trying to get Nancy Pelosi? They were trying to get Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House. None of them fought. That was your time. Like now, all these concessions you wanted, like, student loan reform, healthcare reform, everything you wanted, you just had to go up there and be like, you know what? I'm not going to vote for Nancy Pelosi. And it's called #forced-to-vote. Have you seen, by the way, speaking of YouTube, Jimmy Dore? Have you ever heard of Jimmy Dore?
No.
Follow him on YouTube, man. He's a liberal, but dude, he is so honest when it comes to like, and that's why I really like his content.
This is how I explain myself. I grew up in the weed industry. I live in Oregon.
Yeah.
Okay?
Nice.
Super democratic, right?
Yeah.
I consider and you gotta think too, when I grew up, when I got out of high school, I was working for a 500-acre USDA farm. I was in the energy department where I was welding and building frames for solar panels. I installed solar panels, right? I was all about eco-friendly, sustainable living, okay? I am pretty liberal, but I have conservative views. Ever since the third grade, I did a report.
The good conservative. See, these are the good conservative. But you're the because like they say that more what's it called? Bernie supporters usually agree more on Trump's policies than they did on. Well, actually, The problem with Biden is he promised these things, but then he doesn't give it to you. He's like such a good bait and switch. Like, you're going to get $2,000. No, you don't. You're going to get healthcare reform. No, you don't.
That's normal politics, though. That's what you see. Biden is a career-long politic, corrupt, bought-out system. That's the old system.
And they used Elizabeth Warren, they used Bernie Sanders, and they used AOC to raise a bunch of money. So you give them a bunch of money, they're going to make a bunch of promises. We're going to give you this, we're going to give you that. And then as soon as Democrats have full power right now, they can pass whatever they want. You know, with the filibuster, they can pass whatever they want. They don't pass anything because their corporations don't want them to pass anything. It was all just a joke to make you guys pretend you had power.
Oh, well, I mean, it's just to get the vote. You know, that's all it is. It's just to get the vote. This is what I'll explain to you. So Trump, hate him or love him, what he did is he gave you a taste of what things could be like. Now, take away what the media would say. Like, oh, he said this racist comment or whatever bullshit, you know. Take the mean tweets out of your brain for a second. Literally deprogram that. He had unemployment rate, the economy was booming. This is when the media, before he got elected, the media was saying if he becomes president, we're going to go to World War III. The economy's going to crash.
But let's go down this rabbit hole. The reason why the economy blew up is he literally did reverse Robin Hood, though. Those tax cuts were amazing, bro. I love those tax cuts. God bless Trump. But that's the reason the debt went crazy. Because remember, before, you know, like Obama had a bad debt, but Trump's...
Short term.
Huh?
You're talking short term. The reason why it went bad, hear me out. If those taxes would have stayed... Okay.
They're still here. Biden's not going to get rid of them. They're awesome for rich people. It's funny is they used Trump to pass it, right? The economy obviously went to the moon, but what really happened is that, you know, rich people got richer. We pay less taxes. Like, all I know is like Trump made me a lot of money. God bless Trump. I just want to tell you that. But like, he made me a lot of money, but it was reverse Robin Hood.
You know what I do? People argue this theory of trickle-down economics. If I make a lot of money, you know what I do? I invest and create more business. I create more work.
So let's talk about the PPP loan. Okay, so let's talk about trickle-down economics, right? They gave me these PPP loans, right? Now, I knew during this recession that I'm not going to hire more people. I'm not going to invest in my business. Like, it's a recession. So guess what I did? I took all these PPP loans and I bought a shit ton of stocks. And I got really wealthy. Thank you, government. Thank you for making rich people more rich. Like most people, most business owners, you obviously keep your employees, right? But a lot of these disaster loans, it just went into me buying more, you know, stocks that went up. But go ahead.
That's the problem, though, is we're in a recession. You know, there's huge worries about a massive financial switch. You know, they're openly talking about this great reset, right? We all know that the dollar's being inflated, right? We know all this stuff. So for people to invest, if you have big money, you're not going to invest in creating business in the time that everything could collapse. That doesn't make sense. If we are in a situation where we're not in that position, we're dropping our spending, because that's a big thing. We need to drop the spending within the government, right?
Military industrial complex. That's like the number one. I mean, I don't understand why. And then also giving money to like other foreign countries when we don't have drinking water.
Right there. That one I agree with. Really, to be honest,
what do we give like $8 billion to Israel? Israel's like technology is supposed to be better than ours now. I heard Israel, and like when it comes to like cyber defense, Israel has better technology than us. I mean, and we're still giving them money.
It's not even that. So you're talking about like allies. We can have an argument for that. Here's a bigger one. Why are we bribing people like in nuclear deals to not produce nuclear weapons and we drop them off billions of dollars on crates that are untraceable? Like that doesn't make sense to me. Like what? You know,
by the way, we should be converting those nuclear warheads into energy, clean energy. I mean, I know that people want to do solar and they want to do all this other crap, but like, dude, nuclear energy is really clean. And thanks to SpaceX, the fact that we can now put nuclear waste on rockets and send them out, like I mean, look at France. France has like no emissions because they're all nuclear power.
Yeah, nuclear is one of the most efficient, and we can make them safer. It's just like things like the whole Japan thing, right? Everyone has this bad vibe, probably because of Simpsons, right?
This is a good
nuclear plant is in the Simpsons.
This is a good comment. I don't think the government cares about money. They care about power. I agree with that comment.
Because money, look, you have a fiat currency. It's a piece of paper, right? They can buy up land. They can take all their money and just buy up land, right? So the only issue I say is, what is the collateral for our debt? Are you a human?
Our military,
right?
we'll come blow you up. That's our collateral. If you don't accept our debt, we'll come and blow you up.
Well, if China goes, look, we're done taking the dollar, you guys keep inflating it. We're going to stop taking in dollars, okay? The dollar will not be the world currency, which means our gas price will go fucking crazy because it's not going to be the standard, right? So if that were to take place, what do we pay our debts with? Is it the people? Is it the land? Is it our resources? Is that why they're buying up a lot of land?
This is this is a great question.
How about this?
Great question.
Here's a good one. Remember I asked you, would a crash benefit the elites? Okay, check this out. We owe a shit ton of money to Japan or China. China's paid out some of our politicians and put in policies that benefit China, so they keep gaining wealth, keep taking our resources, right? They promote a collapse. We want a great reset. We want a collapse, which means everything's going to sell pennies on the dollar. So real estate, I'm going to buy up real estate when the collapse happens. So big billionaires come in and go, hey, we need to push this. They do it like every 100 years. Right? I want you to understand that. When the big Depression happened, a lot of rumors happened. This is why the Federal Reserve is even enacted too. Is the uncertainty, or I should say the lack of stability in the market is why the Federal Reserve was put into place, is to stop that, because they can manipulate the interest rates, right? They can play around, move money around, and make it to where they can keep kind of this balance so we don't have major crashes, which obviously hasn't stopped it, right? So if you have, well, back then, if all you had to do was put a rumor out saying, hey, our banks are running out of money, what is everyone going to do? They're going to go to the bank and pull out their money. They need their money. They're not going to lose their money. So when you pull all the money out of circulation, then what happens? Collapse.
Yep.
You know, there used to be thousands of different banking companies, right? Competition. When that collapse happened,
4 big banks
went out of business, and the banks are buying up all the other banks. You're going to tell me that they would never do that again? I think what it is people start waking up. They start seeing the corruption. Look at Robinhood and all the shit that went on with that. The AMC and all this shit. And then it was tied into government, officials reaching out to these companies and telling them, hey, we're losing money, knock that shit off. Like, you need to cut this off.
All right, we gotta do this again. I gotta get running. I have to go to my gym. I have some other things, but I gotta get another live stream with you. And by the way, if you guys want to see the full video of this live stream, I don't know when most of you guys came in here, but if you want to see this full live stream, check out my YouTube. I put it on my YouTube. But yeah, we gotta set this up. So when can I have another discussion with you? Probably. You want to do it later tonight? Are you available later tonight? We can continue this, or are you gonna be busy?
Let me just get back to you. I don't know.
I'm gonna DM you my cell, so you can just text me directly, and then just we'll stay in contact. But I definitely want you to come back on, because I definitely, when I do these live streams, no one has your point of view. Like, you have a completely different point of view than most of the people I talk to. So I really appreciate you giving us this time. I'm gonna once again put this up on YouTube, and hopefully, so far I thought we were gonna get banned. I was waiting, because every time the connection would get bad. I'm like, oh, you got banned. I knew it. You got banned, but you didn't. But I really enjoy this conversation, man. Like, we this is some.
No, we'll keep in touch. I have kids, so usually in the afternoons, I'm dealing with kids and then put them to sleep pretty early. So, are you on West Coast?
Yeah, I'm on West Coast. Yeah, I'm in California, so I'm just below you. Okay. But I'm just gonna give you I'll just give you my number, so you can just text me whenever, and we'll figure it out, and we can talk more. But yeah, I appreciate it. If you guys still have some time right now, jump on my YouTube, give me a thumbs up, and I'm gonna post this entire conversation on YouTube, and hopefully we'll do this again soon. And
thanks, John.
Yeah, appreciate it. And then check them out too. Give them a follow, give them a like. Are you gonna continue live streaming? You can continue live streaming if you want, and people want to ask you questions.
Yeah, I can. I'm honestly on I'll stay on for a little bit and answer some questions.
Okay, so yeah, check out his. So yeah, check out his, just click on his, you can click on his little profile thing, and then jump into his live stream, ask him some questions that I didn't ask him. And if there's any other content you guys get from him, come back and let me know on my next live stream. All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you. I'll keep in touch.
My bad. You guys are still here. I forgot. Okay, end this live stream.